Things that aren't working for us can actually be working against us. Now, it might not be something huge, but if something is not helping your family move forward, it's not helping you to have better days, it might be something that needs to be tweaked. It might be something that just needs to go because it is actually working against you.
Welcome to Little by Little Homeschool Podcast, where you'll learn tips and strategies that will empower you to home educate your children. I'm Leigh Nguyen, a homeschool mom of over 12 years, which includes 2 graduates. When I started homeschooling, I was pretty much on my own and was desperate for encouragement and help. My mission is to be a source of encouragement and help to you. Whether you are just beginning your homeschool journey or you're deep into the homeschool lifestyle, Little by Little Homeschool wants to help you stay the course because all the time you are investing into your children is completely worth it. If you're ready to take your homeschool to new levels, keep listening.
I know you're really here for this episode and you want to know what exactly I need to master. But before we get into that, I've got an announcement here, okay? I promise we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of this episode, but I have a really exciting announcement. I probably told you maybe it was about 2 weeks ago. I'm losing track of time. The date for the Little by Little Homeschool Conference, and that is on Saturday, October 25th of 2025 in Syracuse, New York. But today, I'm going to announce here on the podcast the speakers that are going to be present at the conference. Now, if you aren't on the email list, you need to get onto that email list. That's if you're interested in attending the conference. Those that are on the email list, you already know who the speakers are because I already let you know. So if you'd like to join that email list, the link will be there in the show notes for you. I'd love to have you there so that you can find out the details as soon as they come out. The next announcement will be, I don't have an exact date here, but in a couple of weeks, a month at the most, and that'll be the announcement of when ticket sales begin. But we have the date now, and now today, I'm going to tell you who the 2 guest speakers are. So I will be speaking at the conference. I'll be doing a session or 2, and all of those details and the topics and everything will be on the website as well, which is littlebylittlehomeschool.com/conference. With the 2 guest speakers that I am thrilled to bring to Little by Little Homeschool Conference this year is, in no particular order, Whitney Newby from Brighter Day Press. You can go check her out. She has a lot of things that she offers through her shop and a lot of encouragement, and I'm excited for her to come. And the second speaker is Zan Tyler. If you have not heard of Zan, friend, she is OG homeschooler. She almost went to jail for homeschooling her children way back in the day, and she was pivotal in getting homeschool regulations into states. Now, we might say, the homeschool regulations, I have to do this and I have to do that. However, before that, it was illegal to homeschool. So no matter what our thoughts are on the homeschool regulations, they actually are there to protect us as homeschoolers. And Zan was there on the front lines, and she has so much wisdom, and I am just really excited I'm excited to listen to her speak as well, but just to have her there and for us moms. Now, I'm closer to the end of my homeschooling journey, but you're probably maybe closer to the beginning of it, and I just know she's going to encourage you. So Whitney Newby and Zan Tyler are going to be the 2 guest speakers at Little by Little Homeschool Conference 2025. Again, you can get onto the email list to be able to have that information sent directly into your inbox. And you can always go to the website as well, and I will make announcements here and there on the podcast. Now, let's get into today's topic, which I have entitled to Master This and Watch Your Homeschool Days Get Better. Now, like you, I always want better days. Who doesn't want better days? Now, I want better days for a selfish reason. For me, yes. But I also want better days for my family, for my husband, for my children, and for us as a whole. And things that aren't working for us can actually be working against us. Now, it might not be something huge, but if something is not helping your family move forward, it's not helping you to have better days, it might be something that needs to be tweaked. It might be something that just needs to go because it is actually working against you. I like to be organized. Now, I mean, if you look at my junk drawers and you look in some of my drawers, you might be like, wow, she's not that organized. I'm really not. I'm organized in the things that need to be organized, and I appreciate organization. I appreciate when people are just good with that, good with communication and all that kind of stuff. And I more so appreciate when there is a purpose for something. You could tell me that we need to do it in this fashion, X, Y, and Z, in that order. And if it doesn't make sense, I'm kind of want to know why. And if I don't think that there's a good enough purpose, I might push back a little bit. And you might find yourself like that too. And you might find that your kids are like that too. So today's episode, I have a lot of whys for the reasons behind. Like there's a purpose for this. The purpose is for you to have better, smoother days. Are we assured of better days? No. Nothing in scripture tells us our days have to be perfect and happy. But if things are working against us and there's something you can do about it, I'm kind of like, why wouldn't you do something about it? And so what I'm going to share with you today is completely doable. It's not going to cost you anything. It's going to maybe take a little bit of time to think through it. But I promise you that it is going to help you have better days. Are you ready for it? Let's get into it. What exactly do you need to master? You need to master 2 critical times of the day. And it sounds so simple, right? Like, oh, there's just 2 times that I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Yeah, but it's not always easy to do. Our motivation and our willpower, it might be lacking. And I can almost assure you that in one of these times of the day, your motivation and willpower is going to be really low. It's going to be tanked pretty much. It's going to be the depths of despair, and you're going to have to just pull up your bootstraps. So I'm going to warn you about that. I run into that every single day, and you'll figure out which part of that day is, and I'll tell you as well. So your motivation and willpower, it might be lacking, and this isn't always easy to do. And that's why you just have to create a system. Because if you have a system to this, I would encourage you to have this written down. You don't need to think through it. There are no decisions to make. Because at some times of the day, you are in decision fatigue. You don't want to make one more decision. But if you have a list of things to accomplish, a system to do those things, then you just need to make yourself to do it. And I'm not saying that you are the only one that needs to do this. But you probably are going to be the one who's going to have to kick it off and have to remind everybody else. This doesn't mean that you are the only one that's going to do all of these things at these 2 times of the day. I want to encourage you to pull in your husband and to pull in your kids. Who is there and who is available and who can do some of these things? Now, you might have a bunch of little kids and they might not be able to be as helpful, but I want to encourage you to train them to be helpful, to know how to do these things. And then you are the manager of it. Now, yes, you have to brush your own teeth and that kind of stuff, but you are the manager. You are the one that is then going to head it out. You're the leader of it. Now, I'm not saying you're going to boss your husband around or anything, but ask, hey, here are some things I'd like to accomplish during these 2 times. Are there things that you can help out with? And he might be someone who says, yes, I'd like to take a look at your list. I could do this, or I'm available to do this one and this one. Or he might just say, I don't know, what do you want me to do? Then ask him. Maybe pick on the list the things that are not super high up on your list that you want to do and let him do those things. If he's wanting to help, please let him help. And your children, they need to help as well. So the 2 times of the day that are super critical and will determine the betterment or the success, for a better word, of your day is first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening. I typically say that the evening is more important because it sets the tone for the next day. Because the morning, your motivation after getting hopefully a good night of sleep and your willpower is a lot higher. So it's easier to carry through with the list of important tasks that you have. And the evening, if you don't get these couple of things done, you're going to be starting off behind in the morning. But I know everybody thinks of morning first and evening second. So I'm going to go in the way that your brain is going to work best, but just know that as I'm speaking through the morning, the evening completely supports this. And I'll explain why in just a minute. So your morning. Basically, the first 6 things that I label as 6 things, this is my list that I've come up with, and I think that you'll find that it is pretty comprehensive, but these first 6 things set the tone for the day. Right now, I'm going to tell you up front, your phone is not included in those 6 things. Now, you might need to turn it on or to turn it off of mute or whatever it is. I turn off my phone at night, and in the morning, I will turn it on. Now, it is winter, and at the time of this recording, I have my 20-year-old who is out plowing, so I will quick turn it on, see if he has texted, if there's anything that maybe he needs. Most of the time, pretty much 99% of the time, it's not, but it's usually me just kind of jumping on Life 360 to get an idea as to, when did he head out? Was it 2 in the morning or was it 4 in the morning? And so right now in this season, I turn my phone on a little bit sooner, but when my kids were younger and they were all at home and my husband was at home or getting ready for work, I found that I could not turn my phone on because if I turned it on, I was going to check my email. Actually, right now, sometimes I check the weather and stuff because it is winter. I'm like, okay, we have these plans. It's actually going to happen. But I would check my email and done, get onto social media, the dark black hole of social media. And I wouldn't come back out for a long time. Even if it was 15 minutes, I just lost 15 minutes. So if you can, keep your phone off. Phone is not included in the top 6 things that will set the tone for your day. Instead, spend your first 1 to 2 hours on these things. Get a piece of paper and a pen and get ready to write these right down. Now, these are in no particular order, and they're going to change depending on the age of your children. So the first thing I have on this list is your devotions, spending time in God's Word, spending time reading the Bible. You might have young children and you might sleep until they wake you up because that's what I did. I didn't set an alarm. I didn't wake up on my own for many, many years because I was probably up throughout the night. And so I was like, I am too tired to get up any time before them. And so therefore, spending that time on devotions, reading the Bible happened a little bit later. Once my kids could get themselves up and get themselves moving and they had their list of things that they could do, that they had to do, I was able then to spend time in devotions first thing. So it doesn't have to be first thing. Just look at the season of life you're in right now. So the first of the 6 things is devotion Bible time. This is just you personally, one-on-one with God. I really do hope that you are including that in your homeschool and in the discipleship of your children. But this is you. You have to have your own personal relationship with God. And of course, he's going to speak during the homeschool time and all that stuff. But just that time, whether that is 5 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever your season in life allows right now. The next thing is to empty the dishwasher. Now, you're like, wait a minute, is the dishwasher, did I run that? Yes, you're going to run it overnight. And we'll get to that when we talk about the evening. But your dishwasher in the morning is going to be clean. Your dishes are going to be clean. And you are going to, as soon as possible, empty that out. Or have your children or your husband, as soon as possible, empty that out. That way you're starting with an empty dishwasher and you can start loading it up because I can almost guarantee you're going to do that very soon. But you have all of your dishes are all clean. All the utensils are all clean. Maybe you don't have a dishwasher, but you have dishes that are drying on the counter. Go ahead, get those away. Have all of your dishes. You have everything ready for all the cooking and the snacks and all of the baking and cooking, all the things you're going to do in a day. Everything is ready. Number 3 on my list here is a nourishing breakfast. Something that is going to fill you up well. That's going to give you the nutrients that you need, the energy that you need for that day. The next thing is that you guys get a few chores done. What chores would be good to have done in the morning? Now, you got the dishwasher empty. Maybe you have a dog that needs to be taken care of, taken out for a walk and fed. Maybe you like to kind of give the kitchen floor a quick sweeping or something after breakfast. What are those chores that you want to do? You want to do a quick wipe down of the bathroom or I don't know, whatever it is that you feel like you need to do first thing in the morning that's going to help you set the tone for the day. If you are unsure as to what those chores could possibly be, this is where the tidy home comes into play. And I talk all about the various chores. I mean, I give you tons of options. We figure out what are the best chores that are important to you to do right now and what needs to be done on a daily basis. So when you have that set up through the tidy home, then these couple of chores, it's just a rinse and repeat every single day. Just a couple of chores. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chores that can be done. Maybe different people have different chores, but you get a few chores done. Everybody then, number 5 here, everybody gets ready for the day. Oh, if you want information about the Tidy Home, you can go littlebylittlehomeschool.com/tidyhome, and the link is in the show notes. But everybody gets ready for the day. Now, I know there's talk about homeschoolers spending the day in their pajamas, and I'm not going to tell you that you can't do that. There were years that we did that more so I did that. I felt like I always required my kids to have that transition, getting out of their pajamas, even if it was pajamas that they wore one night and they're going to wear them again. They fold them up, put them on their pillow, or put them on top of their dresser, wherever we had designated for them to do that. But just getting dressed, even if it was just getting dressed into some sweatpants and a sweatshirt. I found that for myself, I was lacking in that. And when I made that change and started getting myself ready, this doesn't mean you have to have full hair, full makeup. Maybe just pull the hair up into a messy bun. Maybe pull it back in a ponytail, maybe comb it or something. Wash your face, brush your teeth. Do those things like bare minimum. So it doesn't mean you have to be all made up. But go ahead, maybe put on some clean sweatpants and a clean sweatshirt as well. But there's something about signaling to your brain that, okay, we are going to be doing some stuff today. And the last thing is if you can get some time outside. Now, I know at some ages, if you let the kids out, they're not going to be coming back in very easily to do their homeschool lessons. And you kind of have to decide on the season of life and the season of the year, is that important, and what you want to do. But I mean, obviously, we need to get our kids outside. But at least maybe some time for you, whether that is just kind of standing at the back door and just breathing in the fresh air, looking at the sunrise, whatever that is, get a little bit of time outside. Maybe it's the whole family. That would be the best, I think. But again, you have to know what your limits are. Okay, now, so that's the morning. Those are the 6 things in the morning to do in the first 1 to 2 hours. Now let's jump to the end of the day. And I said earlier that the end of the day decides how your next day begins. Remember that dishwasher that you emptied? Well, it has to be filled up all the way, and it needs to have soap in it, and it needs to actually run the cycle. So you're going to be doing that in the evening. For this evening list of things to do, don't wait until 10 o'clock at night to do them, because you won't. Your motivation and your willpower, they're gone. They're pretty much done and gone. Think about, when do you feel like snacking and eating maybe some junk food? Typically, it's at night. I have found for myself that if I brush my teeth early in the evening, then I won't snack on junk food and stuff like that. It's not that I'm not even hungry. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? But if I brush my teeth, I floss my teeth, I did my tongue scraper, I did water pick. Yes, we're those crazy people. I don't want to do that whole routine again. And so therefore, that chocolate or whatever it is not as enticing, because it's going to add another 5 minutes to my evening, and I don't want to rebrush my teeth. So think of it like that. Your motivation and your willpower are gone, and you just have to do the thing. So what can you put into place? One of the best things is to start earlier on this nighttime routine. For me right now, I'm telling myself 9 p.m., phone is turned off, work on that evening routine. When my kids were little and I knew that my motivation, willpower was going to greatly tank, I would still have enough energy, get them to bed, and tell myself, do not sit down. Get this night routine done right now, because the moment you go and sit down on the couch or find a cozy chair to sit in with a book or climb into bed, you're done. Absolutely done for the day. So you might need to just get the kids to bed and then go ahead and start working on this nighttime routine to ensure that you actually get it done. So start earlier. For me right now, it is 9 p.m. I turn my phone off and work on these couple of things I'm going to list off to you in just a moment. Then when I get this done, it doesn't take me that long. I then have time to sit and read, to relax. I can hang out with my husband before we go to bed. So in the evening, what do you need to do? You need to get your kitchen closed up. That includes getting the dishwasher filled up. The sink is empty of dishes. And I know some people are like, don't think it's as big of a deal. And it's not that big of a deal. If there's dishes in the sink, the world is not going to end. But if consistently there are dishes in the sink every single night, you are starting the next day cleaning up from the day before. Get the kids to bed, get the kitchen cleaned up. Have your husband help you. Many, many, many years my husband helped me. And now most nights still, he and or my boys take care of cleaning up the kitchen after dinner. And typically at that point, it is only dinner dishes, and I try to clean up as I'm cooking. But I've been in the kitchen and cleaning up off and on all day. And so that's their way of being able to contribute. So call in some reinforcements, and get the kitchen all cleaned up. The counters are cleaned up, wiped down, and you are good to go with the kitchen. Now, check the next day's meals. Look, say, what am I doing for breakfast? What am I doing for lunch? What am I doing for dinner? Dinner especially, to say, do I have the chicken? Is it out of the freezer and is it thawing in the refrigerator at the time? You might find that you did not do that, and thank goodness you went and checked, because now you can go ahead and you can put it into the refrigerator and hopefully it'll be thawed before you need it for dinner. So check the next day's meals, see if there's any prep or anything that you need to do for breakfast the next morning. So those are the first two things. The next, number 3, is to set out your homeschool for the next day. That way you have an opportunity to think through the day. And so to take a look and say, do we have any appointments tomorrow? Are we just home tomorrow? Do we have co-op? Are we going out somewhere? Maybe take a look at the weather and say, it'd be kind of nice to go and do something in the afternoon, maybe a hike or something. Is the weather going to be good for that? So go ahead and check that. But just think through the day, the next day, and set out your homeschool stuff. Take a look at what are you doing the next day? Is there a science experiment? Do you have everything you need for the science experiment? That does not mean you need to run to the grocery store at 9 p.m. for a bottle of hydrogen peroxide or something. You might just say to yourself, wow, okay, I don't have all the ingredients for the science experiment. So now, at least I know it now, and we'll just kind of have to shuffle what we're doing or skip that science experiment. Yes, I did just say that. Next thing that I really want you to think through then is the straightening up of some important areas of your home. Think about what's important, what will actually make you feel good the next morning when you come out of your room. Is it beyond the kitchen? The kitchen's cleaned up. Is having the living room, having the cushions and the pillows and the blankets put back onto the couch, because the next day when you come in, it'll just feel good, like you're starting off fresh. Or maybe you don't really care. You're like, I don't really care what the living room looks like, but I do care about the dining room, or I care about our front entryway, or I care about the laundry room or the bathroom. But straighten up some important areas. And the last thing I want to mention that is really important for your evening is to go to bed. Choose a bedtime and get to bed at that time. You get to choose what that bedtime is, but guess what? Getting to bed earlier will rarely, if ever, hurt you. Trust me, take my advice on that. And it's something that can be a struggle, especially when the kids are in bed and it's quiet and you're like, oh, I just want some quietness and I just want to stay up and watch some TV or something. It's never worth it the next morning. Trust me. So these 2 times of the day, if you master them, I can guarantee you that your days are going to be better. Is it going to be hard to start and do this? Yes. And again, this is where the Tidy Home can come alongside you and help walk you through this, creating these couple of times a day, creating these systems. But anyway, either way is what I'm trying to say. Have a list, the best things to do in the morning, best things to do in the evening, and just do the things. Do it today, do it tomorrow, do it the next day. It will eventually become a habit. If you're interested in joining the Tidy Home, you can go to littlebylittlehomeschool.com/tidyhome, and I'll provide the link for you in the show notes as well. I'm looking forward to you mastering these 2 times of the day and having better days.
Thank you for listening, friend. I'd love to connect with you more. You can find social media links in the show notes and share this episode with a friend who could use a boost to her homeschool. See you back here real soon.